This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. It's a snow day. All area public and private schools are closed. However, virtual days are taking place at North Central Technical College, Stanley Boyd School District, and the Colby School District. And did you know that you can check out real-time road conditions on an app? It's Wisconsin's 511 mobile app showing current conditions on roads all across the state. You'll see categories ranging from normal, partially covered, and completely covered. There are also areas showing where travel is just not advised. 511 Wisconsin first launched 15 years ago in 2009, and the free travel information system has evolved over the years with its web and smartphone capabilities. Drivers can now access live streaming video through hundreds of traffic cameras across the state, where you can view the road conditions yourself. And slip and fall injuries are among the most common winter-related accidents, often leading to serious consequences like fractures, sprains, or head injuries.
So you want to make sure you've got some good quality footwear on or some good traction with your footwear. Good tread, non-slip soles, something that's pretty stable and secure on your feet.
That's Caitlin Eichman, a physical therapist at Aspirus. She says the first line of defense is keeping pathways clear of snow and ice. Shovel walkways promptly. And for added safety, apply ice-melting products like rock salt or sand to improve traction.
Make your base of support a little wider. So think of your feet like penguin feet. You want to turn them outward a little bit and take short steps.
Slopes and stairs can be particularly dangerous for individuals with limited mobility.
Move slowly. Look where you're going. Use a hand railing when you can, or the railing on your car. You want to also try and keep your arms free. So don't try and get out of, step onto a curb that's at an angle with your arms full of all your grocery bags.
And winter hazards don't stop at the doorstep. Melted snow and water tracked inside can create slippery floors. There's new information on the Madison school shooting, from the names of the victims to a man police say was planning an attack of his own. Madison Bureau Chief Savannah Tomei-Olsen continues our coverage.
The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office released the names of the two people shot and killed at Abundant Life Christian School. They are 14-year-old Ruby Vergara and 42-year-old Michelle West. The report says they died of, quote, homicidal firearm-related trauma, end quote. Ruby's family chose to publicly post her obituary. They wrote that she was a big reader and played keyboard in the family band and loved to sing. She has a brother and had a special bond with her pets, cat Ginger and dog Coco. Meanwhile, West was a long-term substitute teacher at Abundant Life Christian School and also has kids who go there. And more new information. 2 people shot are still in the hospital fighting for their lives. We've learned the other 4 who are expected to recover are now home. Meanwhile, a California judge has ordered a man who was allegedly talking to the shooter and planning an attack of his own to surrender his weapons. Court documents show the FBI served a 20-year-old man in Carlsbad, California, with a gun violence restraining order. According to the documents, the man was texting with the shooter and told her he would arm himself with guns and explosives to target a government building. Now, this gun violence restraining order is a civil issue, not a criminal one. We often call these red flag laws. They allow law enforcement to temporarily seize the weapons of someone who's been deemed a threat to themselves or to others. California has red flag laws. Wisconsin does not. And here at home, Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says the shooter had 2 handguns, but only used one of them. He says federal authorities are tracing both firearms. For Civic Media News, I'm Savannah Tomei-Olsen.
There are talks at the top of the state Democratic Party about how to stop a Trump plan. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
Assembly Minority Leader and Racine Representative Greta Neubauer is in discussions with Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul. On WISN 12's Upfront program, Neubauer said they talked about strategies for preventing the mass deportations promised by President-elect Donald Trump. She says the conversation is, quote, nuanced, but wants to keep people in the community.
And Wisconsin has found their first human infected with the bird flu in Barron County. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services said yesterday that they detected the first presumptive positive human case of highly pathogenic avian influenza A, H5N1, also known as the bird flu. The human case follows an infected flock of commercial poultry identified in Barron County. This person had exposure to that flock. The case was identified through testing at the Wisconsin State Lab of Hygiene and is pending confirmation at the CDC. The DHS is monitoring farm workers who may have been exposed and said the risk to the general public remains low. People who work with infected animals or have recreational exposure to them are at higher risk. The virus does not spread easily from animals to people. People who have gotten sick with bird flu have been in direct contact with the infected animals. And symptoms of the bird flu include a sore throat, fever, muscle aches, cough, and eye infections. It is safe to eat eggs, poultry, and meat that has been fully cooked. Pasteurized milk and milk products, such as cheese and yogurt, are also safe to eat and drink. And if promised tariffs from the incoming administration come to pass, it will likely mean higher fuel costs here in the state.
Definitely the Midwest and Rockies. These are the two regions of the country that have long had stable access and pipelines that flow directly down from Canada. And that's why the Great Lakes and Rockies would be much more affected by this tariff potentially than anyone else.
Funds are being relocated in Marathon County for two major projects. The Marathon County Board of Supervisors met Tuesday night to discuss a resolution involving American Rescue Plan Act funds. The board made a near unanimous vote to pass the resolution, which allocates the remaining ARPA funding. Now, the Regional Forensic Science Center will receive over $1,800,000, and the Utility Services Line projects gets $1,300,000. The deadline for municipalities to decide on where or what the ARPA funds will go towards is the end of December, although the funds can be used for projects through the end of 2026. And you should conduct a frozen pizza check. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
Palermo's has recalled just over 1,700 Connie's thin crust cheese frozen pizzas. They say it's due to potential plastic contamination. The impacted products were distributed in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. They've already been pulled from store shelves. If you've got one in your freezer, you should throw it out and contact the store for a refund.
And the holiday season is portrayed as a time of joy and celebration, but holiday stress and anxiety can impact your mental health. Melissa Kay has more.
It's best to focus on what you truly enjoy instead of trying to meet unrealistic expectations.
Only spend what you can afford. Make a budget. Plan ahead. Recognize that there are alternatives to spending.
Janet Wimmer is a clinical therapist with Aspirus Health. She said the picture-perfect holidays portrayed in advertisements can lead to frustration and increased stress.
Choose carefully. Don't be afraid to say no to invitations to party or bring something to eat or bake something or bring a gift.
So by choosing the activities and traditions that you truly enjoy, it'll help protect your time and energy this holiday season. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Pack is back in Green Bay. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. After an extra day off, the Packers are back at work getting ready to host the Saints on Monday Night Football. Linebacker Quay Walker expected to be out a while with an ankle injury. Rookie linebacker Edgerrin Cooper named NFC Defensive Player of the Week after his performance Sunday night in Seattle. Matt LaFleur.
You know, he's a really talented guy. He did a great job, and I mean, on that screenplay where they hit Jackson Smith-Jigba out the backfield, that was just an elite play by somebody that has elite athleticism.
NBA, the Bucks in Cleveland tomorrow night against the Cavaliers. College basketball, Marquette with a win in their first Big East game of the season, beating Butler 80-70. Marquette now 10-2, ranked 9th in the nation. Head coach Shaka Smart.
You know, somebody told me after the game, they said, well, we'll take that one. They've obviously never played or coached. Like, this no Big East game is like, we'll take it. We have a level of gratitude that we were able to do what it took to win. You know, Butler's a dangerous team that's had some good wins on this season. Obviously beat us last year here. And I thought the way our guys handled adversity was way better this time around, and that's what allowed us to win.
That's Marquette Shaka Smart. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Week 51 at the domestic box office has some great films opening this weekend, and a little something for everyone. Starting off with movies you can take your kids to, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 hits theaters featuring the voices of Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves. The third installment of the franchise is pulling in 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the film is rated PG. The new Lion King film Mufasa also opens in wide release and is also rated PG. It is pulling a barely fresh rating of 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Fire Inside tells the story of a Flint, Michigan native and the first woman to win a gold medal at the Olympics in boxing. The film is crushing on Rotten Tomatoes with a 94% favorable rating from critics. If you're in the mood for creepy, check out Nosferatu, which is reviewing incredibly well and hits theaters on December 25th. The other big flick that hits theaters on Christmas Day includes A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothée Chalamet. Let's go to the movies. Variety reports that the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has announced the shortlist for the Oscars in 10 categories. Amelia Perez led the way with 6 nominations, and Wicked came in second with 4. Voting to determine the actual nominations will take place January 8th, with nominations being announced January 17th. The 97th Oscars ceremony will air March 2nd of this coming year. Superscribe Taylor Sheridan has received criticism for his role of Travis on Yellowstone. The show's creator has come under fire on social media, with fans saying that they thought it was lame that he wrote himself onto the show and made Bella Hadid his girlfriend, calling it totally unnecessary. Just for the record, folks, Taylor Sheridan has written himself onto other shows as well, including Lioness and 1883. Maybe he's just created so many shows he's running out of actors. Fans of Peaky Blinders who are anxiously awaiting the feature film will be happy to know that principal photography is done. The film is called The Immortal Man, and Cillian Murphy is back in the lead role as Tommy Shelby. Peaky Blinders is the story of post-World War I gangsters in Birmingham. The show ran for 6 seasons between 2013 and 2022 on the BBC and Netflix. Fans of the 28 Days franchise will be happy to know that 28 Days Later will finally be available to stream. The film has been curiously absent from streaming platforms, which is not good for people who want to catch up before the release of 28 Years Later. The second installment, 28 Weeks Later, is available to stream, but Danny Boyle's first film of the franchise has been offline since early 2024 after being purchased by Sony. The film is now available to stream as of December 18th. 28 Years Later is set to hit theaters in June of 2025. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We have snow, and that snow will continue today and into tonight with another 5 to 7 inches of accumulation possible by the time it all winds down late tonight. Our high today, 24, tonight down to 20 tomorrow. Things improve, partly cloudy with a high of 23. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 17.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.